Kevin stood at the edge of a wide platform, looking out at the Thalari homeworld. The land stretched far, filled with silver trees and soft blue rivers. The sky above was pale and full of drifting lights. He had been there for several days now, learning their ways, speaking with their people, and growing closer to Alira. He still didn't understand everything. The Thalari world was full of things that didn't exist on Earth, living buildings, floating gardens, music made of color. But Kevin tried his best. He asked questions and listened closely. The people respected that. Some even smiled at him now when he passed. Alira stood beside him. She wore a simple robe made of soft light, not the royal dress she wore when they first met. Her hair moved like water in the wind. "Tomorrow is the ceremony of intent," she said. "Are you ready?" Kevin let out a breath. "I don't know. What if I mess it up?" "It is not a test," she said. "It is a moment of truth. You only need to be honest." He nodded. "I can do that." They walked down the platform hand in hand. The path was quiet. Lights glowed softly in the ground. As they passed, the plants turned toward them like they could feel something special in the air. That evening, Kevin sat alone in the guest quarters. He looked at the small crystal Alira had given him. It still glowed, brighter than before. He thought about everything that had happened, the day he first saw her, the moment she whispered that question, and all the small steps they had taken since. He smiled to himself. He was still afraid, but he was also ready to stand beside her wherever this road led. The next day, he dressed in the clothes given to him by the Thalari. They were soft and smooth, silver blue, and light as air. He met Alira in the garden where they first shared their thoughts. She looked at him and smiled. "You look strong," she said. "I feel nervous." He replied, "That is a kind of strength too," she said. They walked together to the Hall of Harmony. It was built from tall crystal arches and filled with gentle sounds that seemed to come from the walls. The Thalari elders stood in a wide circle, waiting. The queen stood at the center, her expression calm. Alira stepped forward first. She spoke in her native tongue, then in human language. "I bring before you one who walks with truth. I bring before you the human named Kevin, who has touched my spirit and stood beside me with courage. I seek your blessing to join him in intent." The queen turned to Kevin. "And do you come with clear heart and open mind?" Kevin stepped forward. "I do. I come not as a hero or a leader. I come as myself. I care for Alira. I choose her, and I accept her choice of me." A soft sound moved through the hall. The elders lifted their hands, and the light in the room changed. A gentle beam fell on Kevin and Alira. The queen held out a thin crystal rod and touched both of their foreheads. "Then let this be the beginning," she said. "Not of a bond sealed by law, but one sealed by the heart." Kevin and Alira touched palms. Their crystals glowed. The room filled with a warm light. Outside, the sky changed color, like the world itself was watching. After the ceremony, there was a quiet celebration in the floating garden. Soft music played. Strange fruits were served. Kevin felt lighter, like something had opened inside him. Alira stayed close, never letting go of his hand. They sat under a tree with glowing leaves. "That was beautiful," Kevin said. "It was," Alira agreed. "Now we begin something new." Kevin nodded. "Do you think your people will accept me?" "They already are," she said. "You proved your heart. That is all we ask." A young Thalari child came over with a small flower and gave it to Kevin. He smiled and took it. "Thank you," he said. The child ran back to their family, and Alira laughed softly. "They see who you are," she said, "not what you are." The next day, Kevin spoke to a group of Thalari students about Earth. He told them about simple things, trees that lost their leaves, snow that fell from the sky, and the sound of waves on a beach. They listened closely. Some even asked him questions. He felt like he belonged. Later, Alira brought him to a quiet lake. The water was clear, and soft music drifted from small stones along the shore. This is my favorite place, she said. I wanted to share it with you. Kevin sat beside her. Thank you. They sat for a long time, not speaking, just listening to the world around them. Finally, Kevin turned to her. What happens now? He asked. We return to the station, she said, but with something new between us. We are partners now. The others will see that, and maybe they will begin to understand. He took her hand. I don't want to go back to being just an engineer. You never were just that, she said. He smiled. I want to help more. I want to be a bridge between our worlds. She nodded. Then we begin there. As the sun set over the glowing hills, Kevin felt something deep inside. It was not fear anymore. It was purpose. He had come to the stars with tools and quiet hands. Now he held something more. A heart joined with another. A path forward. And for the first time in his life, he truly felt like he belonged to something greater than himself. Kevin woke early the next morning. The station was still quiet. He sat on the edge of his bed, holding the small glowing crystal Illyra had given him. It pulsed gently in his hand. He didn't know how it worked, but it felt alive somehow, like it was connected to her. He had made his choice. No more hiding. No more running from feelings he didn't understand. He wanted to be with Illyra, even if the path ahead was hard. Later that day, Illyra sent him a message. It asked him to meet her in the Cultural Exchange Chamber. It was a round room filled with objects from many worlds. Kevin had only been there a few times. It always felt like a museum. When he arrived, she was waiting near a glowing tree from her homeworld. The tree had leaves like tiny lights, and they shimmered in soft colors. Illyra smiled. You came. Kevin nodded. Of course. There is something I want to show you, she said. She reached into a small case and pulled out a flat, round device. It opened with a soft click, revealing a swirling light inside. This is a memory sphere, she said. It holds a part of who I am. If you wish, I can share it with you. Kevin blinked. Share your memory? Not all, she said. Just the feelings, the deep ones. It is a Talari custom, a way to build trust between hearts. Kevin looked at the sphere. He felt nervous, but he also felt honored. I want to try, he said doggedly. Ree stepped closer. She touched the sphere to his chest. A soft warmth spread through him. He closed his eyes. Images and emotions filled his mind. He saw a younger Illyra standing in a vast hall, feeling alone. He felt her fear of never being understood. Then he saw her first moments on the station, the wonder, the curiosity, and the spark she felt when she saw Kevin working by the docking bay. It all felt real, like he had lived it with her. When it ended, Kevin opened his eyes slowly. Illyra watched him carefully. I understand now, he said. I felt everything. She smiled, a little shy for the first time. Then I want you to share too. He hesitated. I don't have anything like that. She shook her head. You do. Just speak your heart. Kevin took a deep breath. I grew up in a small town. My father fixed things, and I followed him. I was quiet, always felt like I didn't fit. Machines made sense. People didn't. I never thought I'd be good enough for anyone. Then you walked into my life and saw something I didn't. You made me feel important, real. I want to be that person for you too. Illyra touched his hand, and the crystal between them glowed brighter. You already are, she said. That evening, a message came from the Thalari royal ship. It was from Illyra's mother, the queen. The message was polite but serious. The queen had learned of her daughter's growing connection to a human. She did not express anger, but asked for a formal meeting. Kevin felt his stomach twist. Meeting. A queen was not something he had ever imagined. She wants to meet you in person, Illyra said. She wishes to see the one I have chosen. What if she doesn't like me? Kevin asked. Then we show her who you really are, Illyra said. Not a title, not a role, just you. A few days later, Kevin boarded a small shuttle with Alira and a few station staff. The Thalari royal vessel was larger and more beautiful than anything Kevin had seen. It shimmered with silver and blue light, like it was built from the stars. They landed in a quiet garden dome. Flowers floated in the air, and music drifted like wind. The queen stood at the center, tall and calm, with eyes just like Alira's. Kevin bowed slightly. "Your Majesty." She studied him for a moment. "So this is the human who carries my daughter's heart." Kevin tried to stand tall. "Yes, ma'am. I know I'm not from your world, but I care for her deeply. I didn't expect any of this, but I'm willing to learn." The queen looked at Alira, then back at Kevin. "Caring is the first step," she said, "but understanding must follow." She led them into a crystal room where an ancient ceremony was prepared. It was not a wedding, but a bonding test. A way for the Thalari to measure harmony between minds. "Do you accept this trial?" the queen asked. Kevin looked at Alira. She gave him a small nod. "Yes," he said. They each held a side of a glowing stone. The light grew between them. Images flickered his thoughts, her thoughts, emotions shared, fears revealed. Kevin felt exposed but didn't pull away. He let Alira see his sadness, his hopes, his past, and she let him see hers again, deeper this time. When the light faded, the stone glowed steady and calm. The queen stood and walked to them. She touched Kevin's shoulder. "You are not the Larry," she said, "but you hold her heart with care. That is enough for now." Kevin felt the breath return to his chest. Alira took his hand and held it tightly. They had passed. The queen invited them to stay for a short time. Kevin saw Alira's world, its colors, its quiet songs, its flowing buildings made of light. Everywhere they went, people looked at them with curious eyes, but there was no anger. Just wonder. Kevin asked questions, listened to stories, and shared human jokes that made some Thalari laugh for the first time. He was still just Kevin, but that seemed to be enough. As they sat by a small lake under two moons, Alira leaned against him. "You did well," she said. "I was scared the whole time," he admitted. "So was I," she said. "But I knew you would find a way." Kevin looked at the stars above. "I never imagined this would happen when I came to the station," he said. Alira smiled. "Sometimes the stars have plans we don't understand. We just follow the light." He nodded, and for the first time, he didn't feel lost. He felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. In the days that followed, things changed between Kevin and Alira. They still walked together, talked quietly, and worked side by side. But now, there was something more between them, something unspoken but strong. Kevin felt it in every glance, every smile, and every soft word she gave him. But not everyone on the station saw it the same way. Some crew members started whispering. They stared at Kevin more often. Some smiled with curiosity, but others looked annoyed or even angry. A few officers didn't hide their disapproval. "He's just an engineer," one man said in the mess hall. "What makes him so special?" "She's a princess. It's strange," another replied. "They don't belong together." Kevin heard some of the words. He tried to ignore them, but they stayed in his mind like small thorns. He started walking through the halls with his head down. He avoided crowded places. He worked more hours and spoke less. Alira noticed the change. "You are quiet lately," she said one evening. Kevin forced a smile. "Just tired." But Alira could feel more. Her kind had strong senses, and she could sense Kevin's sadness. "Have I done something to hurt you?" she asked. Kevin shook his head. "No, it's not you. It's everything else." She waited, giving him space to speak. "People are talking," he said finally. "They don't understand us. They think I'm not good enough for you." Alira reached out and gently touched his hand. "Let them talk," she said. "I chose you. That is enough." "Maybe for you," Kevin said, looking down. "But not for them. They see me as a mistake." "Then they are blind," she said firmly. and we must help them see. Kevin smiled, but his heart was still. Heavy Dot later that night, he walked into the observation deck alone. The stars blinked quietly outside. He sat by the window, his thoughts spinning. He didn't know what to do. He wanted to be with Alira, but the pressure was growing. He feared making things worse for himself, for her, and for the peace between their two peoples. A soft voice came from behind him. "Do you wish to end this?" He turned. Alira was there, standing calmly. "No," he said quickly. "I don't want that." "Then stay with me," she said. "We will face the storm together." Kevin stood and faced her. He didn't speak, but he stepped closer and took her hand. She smiled. The next morning, Kevin was called to the command room. The captain and two senior officers waited for him. Alira stood on one side, quiet and strong. "Kevin," the captain said, "we need to talk about your relationship with the princess." Kevin stood straight. "Yes, sir." "There are concerns," one officer said. "Some think this is a distraction. Some think it's dangerous." "To who?" Kevin asked. The room was silent for a moment. "This station is a place of peace and balance," the captain said. "If people lose trust in our crew, in our decisions, it creates tension." Alira stepped forward. "If this station is truly for peace, then human hearts must be as free as ours," she said. "I chose Kevin not as a symbol, but because of who he is." The officers looked unsure. One of them said, "But he is not trained for royal matters. He is not prepared." Kevin took a breath. "I never asked for this," he said. "I didn't try to impress her. I was just myself. And maybe that's why she chose me. If being honest is wrong, then maybe I don't belong here." The captain studied him for a long time. "No one is asking you to leave," the captain said. "At last, we just need to understand what this means." "It means we are trying," Kevin said. "That's all." The meeting ended with no clear decision, but Kevin and Alira walked out together. That alone spoke loudly. That night, something unexpected happened. One of the station workers, a quiet man named Ben, walked up to Kevin in the hallway. "Hey," Ben said, "I think what you're doing is brave." Kevin blinked. "Thanks, that means a lot." Later, Lily handed Kevin a small gift tool wrapped in soft cloth. "Thought you could use a new piece," she said. "Thanks," Kevin said. Touch. Word spread slowly. More crew members began to accept the idea. They saw Kevin not as someone reaching above his place, but as someone standing by someone he cared about. And Alira, too, stood proudly. She never hid her feelings. She showed respect to all and never acted above them. Her grace and strength helped many open their hearts. In the garden deck, Alira gave Kevin a small crystal. It glowed faintly in his hand. "This stone responds to bond energy," she said. "It glows when the connection is true." Kevin stared at it. "It's warm." "Because your feelings are real," she said. He closed his hand around it, feeling something deep inside shift. They sat in the garden as the lights dimmed for night. Kevin leaned toward her. "Thank you for not giving up on me," he said. "I never will," she whispered. Above them, the stars blinked softly, and below, their hearts quietly began to shine. One evening, the stars outside the window shined more brightly than usual. Kevin sat in the quiet lounge, a mug of warm tea in his hands. He had just finished a long shift fixing a broken power relay. He felt tired, but his thoughts were not. Calm. Alira had been in his mind all day, her words and soft looks stirring something inside him that he couldn't explain. Footsteps approached, soft and graceful. Kevin didn't need to turn around to know who it was. "You look tired," Alira said gently. He nodded. "Yeah, long day." The power grid nearly shorted out. She sat beside him. Her dress shimmered like the stars outside. She didn't speak right away, just looked out the window. "When I was a child," she said after a while, "I used to stare at the sky and wonder what kind of people lived among the stars. I never thought I would meet one like you." Kevin chuckled. You probably imagine something more exciting than a guy who fixes broken wires. I imagine someone true, she said. Someone real. You are that. Kevin didn't know what to say. He sipped his tea, trying to keep his hands from shaking. Her presence always made him feel exposed, like she could see things inside him that no one else could. They sat in silence for a few minutes. The hum of the station was the only sound. Then Alira turned her head slowly and looked at him. Kevin, she said in a voice so quiet it felt like breath. Why don't you court me? The words hit him like a wave. He froze, his mug halfway. To his lips. What? He asked, barely able to speak. Why don't you court me? She repeated. I have shown my heart to you. I have walked beside you, shared my thoughts, and listened to yours. I have chosen to be near you. Do you not feel it too? Kevin set the mug down carefully, his heart beating too fast. I'm not ... He stammered. You're a princess. You're a princess. I'm just a mechanic. I don't even know what courting someone like you means. It means wanting to be with me, she said. It means letting go of fear. Kevin looked away. His mind was racing. He had never thought this would happen. He liked her, maybe, more than he wanted to admit. But he also felt small, unworthy. I'm scared, he said quietly. She placed her hand gently over his. So am I, she said. But I still came to you. He turned to her slowly. Their eyes met. In her gaze, he saw no demand, no pressure. Just hope. I need time, he said. I will wait, she said. Then she stood and walked away, leaving Kevin staring at the stars. The next day, Kevin avoided the usual places. He stayed in the lower levels of the station, working on air filters and supply drones. He didn't want to face her. He didn't know how to dot his friend Lily found him in the storage bay. Heard you ran away, she said. Kevin sighed. It's not that simple. She asked you a question. You like her, don't you? He nodded. Yeah, I do. But she's single quotes S ... different. Royalty. Special. I don't belong in her world. Maybe you belong in her heart, Lily said. Kevin frowned. What if I mess everything up? Then you fix it, Lily said. Isn't that what you do? Kevin didn't answer. He just stared at the floor, lost in thought. Later that night, he went back to the lounge. Alira wasn't there. He sat, alone, the stars bright above him. His thoughts were heavy. He thought about her voice, her laugh, the way she listened to him without judgment. He thought about how she chose him, even when she could have had anyone else. Maybe she saw something in him he didn't see in himself. He closed his eyes and whispered, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't want to lose this. The next morning, Kevin went to the garden deck where Alira often walked. She was there, standing among the soft glowing plants brought from her homeworld. Alira, he said. She turned to him slowly. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't know how to answer you last night. I was scared. I still am. But not because I don't care. Because I do. She stepped closer. Then speak freely now, she said. Kevin nodded. I never thought someone like you would even notice me. But you did. And now I can't stop thinking about you. I want to be near you. I want to know you. But I don't know how to be what you deserve. What I deserve is someone who sees me, she said. Not the title, not the crown. Just me, and you have done that from the start. Kevin took a deep breath. Then yes, I want to try. I want to court you. Alira smiled, a soft, glowing smile that lit up her whole face. Then walk with me, she said. They walked through the garden slowly. Kevin still felt nervous, but also lighter, as if a weight had lifted. They didn't talk much. They didn't need to. Their hands brushed, and this time, Kevin didn't pull away. He looked at her and saw someone who wasn't just a princess. She was Alira, and she had chosen him. And finally, he had chosen her too. Kevin didn't know what to do with the feeling growing inside him. He tried to push it away, but it stayed with him like a quiet hum in the background. He told himself it was just attention from someone important and that it would fade soon. But it didn't. Every time he saw Alira, his chest tightened. The days passed slowly. Alira continued to visit him during his work shifts. She never interrupted his tasks. Instead, she watched and asked soft questions. She seemed truly curious about everything. Kevin found himself talking more than he usually did. He told her how machines worked, how humans traveled in space, and how lonely deep space could feel. She listened with full focus, like his words mattered. Sometimes she smiled at his jokes. Sometimes she asked about Earth and what it was like to grow up as a human. Kevin talked about simple things like his childhood, the garage where he learned to fix things, and the first time he saw the stars through a telescope. Alira seemed fascinated by it all. One afternoon, while Kevin worked on a broken sensor panel, Alira sat beside him on the floor. "You do not fear silence," she said. Kevin glanced at her. "Not really? Sometimes silence is better than saying the wrong thing." "But you do not fear me either," she said. "Most humans become stiff or nervous around me. You don't." He shrugged. "You're just a person." She tilted her head. "That is not what others think." "Well," Kevin said, screwing the last bolt into place, "they probably care more about titles and rules. I don't." She smiled again, softly. Kevin wiped his hands on a cloth and leaned back against the wall. The room was quiet, except for the low hum of the station. "What do Teleri people do when they like someone?" he asked suddenly, surprising even himself. Alira looked thoughtful. "We open our minds to them. We share feelings, memories, and energy. We spend time learning each other without words. But for royalty, it is harder. Many expect us to choose someone of power or value. I do not like those rules." Kevin looked down. "So you're not supposed to choose just anyone?" "Not supposed." "Tio," she said, but aloud. "My mother says the heart must lead." He nodded, unsure what to say next. The next few days were filled with more shared moments. Alira joined Kevin while he repaired a hydroponic system. She followed him to the cargo bay where he checked temperature controls. She even watched him argue with a stubborn maintenance bot that refused to reset its protocol. One evening, as they both sat in the lounge again, Alira asked, "Do you believe in fate?" Kevin frowned. "Not really. I believe in choices. You make a decision. You live with it. But what if someone was placed in your life for a reason?" she asked. He looked at her, and she was staring at him with a calm but deep gaze. "Then I guess I want to know what that reason was," he said. She nodded. "Me too." He felt the warmth in his chest again. It was like a flame growing slowly, not burning but comforting. That night, Kevin lay in his bunk staring at the ceiling. He didn't sleep much. His thoughts kept returning to her face, her voice, and the strange feeling of being understood. The next morning, Kevin entered the engine room and found Alira already there. She was looking at a map of the station systems. "You're early," he said. "I wanted to learn more," she said. "You have much knowledge in your mind. It makes your thoughts bright." He smiled, a little embarrassed. "I guess I just like fixing things." She turned to him. "Would you fix a heart if it were broken?" Kevin blinked. I don't know how to fix that." She stepped closer. "I think you do. You fix things with care. That is rare." They stood in silence. The room felt warmer somehow. Kevin didn't move. He didn't know what to say. But he didn't want to leave either. Later, while walking to the mess hall, Kevin ran into Lily, the nurse. She raised an eyebrow. "You've been spending a lot of time with the princess," she said. Kevin rubbed the back of his neck. "She keeps showing up. I didn't ask for it." Lily grinned. "Maybe you didn't have to. Maybe she chose you." "I'm not royalty," he said. "I'm just a guy who fixes wires." "That might be exactly what she needs," Lily said. Kevin looked down, then back at her. "What do I even say to someone like that?" Say what you feel, Lily said. That's always a good place to start. Back in the workshop, Kevin found Alira adjusting a small toolkit he had left open. She was looking at each piece, curious. These tools are like pieces of your mind, she said. Each one has a task, a memory. Yeah, Kevin said. There. Pardon me in a way. Alira held up a tiny probe. What is this one for? For reaching deep into small places, he said. To pull out things that are stuck, she smiled. Useful. Like words sometimes. Kevin watched her for a moment, then took a slow breath. Alira, he said, why do you keep spending time with me? She looked at him, her expression soft. Because you are honest. Because your presence makes me calm. And because I wish to know you more, she said. He opened his mouth to speak, but stopped. I don't know what to do with that, he said honestly. Then just be, she said. And for the rest of the day, they worked side by side, quietly sharing the same space. Kevin still wasn't sure what was happening between them, but he knew one thing for certain. He didn't want it to stop. The space station floated in silence above a pale blue planet. It was a peaceful place, used for diplomacy between different species. One of those species was the Thalari, a new race that humanity had only recently made contact with. They were tall, graceful beings with smooth skin that shimmered faintly in the light. They could speak, but most of their communication was through soft telepathy. Kevin, a young human engineer, walked through the halls of the station with a toolkit in his hand. He had short brown hair, tired eyes, and always wore the same gray jacket. He liked working alone. Machines made more sense to him than people. He had no plans to get involved in politics or fancy meetings. He just wanted to do his job and stay out of trouble. But today, something different was happening. A Thalari princess was coming to the station. Her name was Alira. She was the daughter of their queen, and she had come to observe human customs and meet the crew. Everyone on the station was nervous. Officers polished their uniforms. Scientists rehearsed their greetings. Even the cooks tried new dishes. Kevin didn't care much. He was fixing a broken panel near the docking bay when the Thalari ship arrived. It was smooth and silver, shaped like a bird with wings curled inward. As it docked, Kevin kept working, not even looking up. The others stood at attention. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. Princess Alira stepped out. She was tall and elegant, with long white hair and eyes that glowed faintly. Her dress flowed like mist. She smiled at the officers and nodded to the crew. Then her eyes landed on Kevin. He was still kneeling by the panel, screwdriver in hand. She tilted her head slightly. No one had ever ignored her entrance before. Later that evening, there was a formal dinner. Kevin was not planning to attend, but the captain insisted. Everyone must be there, he said. It's an important moment for our station. Kevin wore his cleanest shirt and sat at the edge of the room, far from the center. The hall was decorated with flags and lights. The princess sat beside the captain, surrounded by translators and advisors. She spoke politely, smiled often, and seemed curious about everything. Then something strange happened. During the meal, she stood up and walked away from her seat. Everyone watched in silence as she made her way across the room. She stopped in front of Kevin. You are the one who fixed the panel today, she said softly. Kevin looked up, surprised. Yeah, that was me. You did not turn to look at my ship, she said. I was busy, he replied, not sure what else to say. Her eyes studied his face for a moment. Then she smiled. That is refreshing. She returned to her seat, and Kevin sat there confused. People whispered around him. Why had she talked to him? Why had she smiled like that? Over the next few days, Kevin kept doing his work. But every now and then, he would see the princess walking nearby. She seemed to be everywhere he went. Once, he found her in the engine room. Another time, she sat quietly in the corner while he repaired a console. You don't need to follow me around, he said finally. I am not following, she replied. I am observing. Well, you can observe from somewhere else. I work better when I'm alone. You work with focus, she said. I like that. He didn't know how to answer. She wasn't like the humans he knew. She didn't play games or hide her thoughts. She just said what she felt. That night, Kevin sat in the lounge by himself. He looked out the window at the stars. He had always liked the quiet. But now he kept thinking about her voice, her strange way of watching him. May I sit here? Her voice said. He turned and saw her standing behind him. Sure, he said. She sat down beside him. For a while, neither of them spoke. Do you enjoy working with machines? She asked. Yeah, he said. They don't lie. If something's broken, you fix it. If it doesn't work, you replace it. Simple. And people? He shrugged. Not as simple. She looked at him for a long moment. You are different from the others, she said. I guess so, he replied. She leaned forward, looking out at the stars. Do you have someone? He blinked. Someone? A bondmate? A partner? A lover? He shook his head. No, not. Really interested in that stuff. She turned to him. Why not? He looked away. Too much trouble. People expect things. I don't want to disappoint anyone. But what if someone expected nothing but truth? He didn't know what to say to that dot. She stood up. Good night, Kevin. Good night, princess. She paused. Call me Alira. He watched her walk away. His heart felt strange, like it was beating faster than before. He didn't know what was happening. He had come to the station to work, not to feel things. But now, he couldn't stop thinking about her. The next day, he tried to focus on his work, but her words stayed with him. Her voice, her calm eyes, the way she asked questions. It was like she saw something in him he didn't even know was there. Dot in the hallway. He bumped into her again. Hello, Kevin, she said. Hey. She reached out and touched his arm lightly. Thank you for being real. Then she walked away, leaving him standing there with his heart pounding.